Hi everyone, this is Mike the MC bringing another self-care video. Today I'm going to share with you number 239 of the Catechism with respect to our Lord being beyond the parenthood that we understand by father and mother, right? Beyond the sexes, beyond the ideas of beyond the material world, more precisely, because there's so much more with number 239 here. It's a big chunk of the Catechism in this one paragraph. So let me read this first and then I'll dive further into the topic. But what I'm going to drive into this idea of 239 is, okay, our Lord being beyond the parenthood that we understand of mom and dad and our caretakers, right? And that our Lord is really a caretaker for all the senses, not just the material needs that we have for food and supplies and the shelter, but also for our spiritual needs, our well-being and our love. So let me share with you number 239 to drive the point. And it's a long paragraph, so bear with me. So 239, I'll read fast, states the following. By calling God Father, the language of faith indicates two main things: that God is the first origin of everything and transcendent authority, and that he has at the same time goodness and loving care for all his children. God's parental tenderness can also be expressed by the image of motherhood, which emphasizes God's immanence, the intimacy between creator and creature. The language of faith thus draws on the human experience of parents who are, in a way, the first representatives of God for man, but this experience also tells us that the human parents are infallible, or they are fallible, and can disfigure the face of fatherhood and motherhood. We ought therefore to recall that God transcends the human distinction between the sexes. He is neither man nor woman. He is God. He also transcends human fatherhood and motherhood. Although he is their origin and standard, no one is father as God is Father, with the capital Father, F. Right? But the whole idea behind that is beyond our parents, right? They can guide us in some way. But when you think about it, it makes sense. Our parents can only teach us so much, can guide us so far as their parents taught them, and as far as our great-grandparents and so forth. And so when you think about it, when we can go way back in time to Adam and Eve, okay, they did the best for us, but then they ate the apple from the tree of life, and then, all right, here comes this whole story again. And so we go through the stories throughout the Bible, the Old and the New Testament, the saints, through all of mankind, through all the different countries and histories that are all part of one history in the world, right, of the universe and existence. All right, and now the thing is beyond the existence itself. Okay, God is the creator of everything, and if you think about it, you and I being made in the image and likeness of God, can you and I create the universe if we were not in a state of sin? Could we create and become very much like him, a designer? Something very big to think about. But think about this, because you and I, with our talents, can do something in this world in reality. I can make certain creations with food, right? I can bake food. Maybe some person can create music. Some person can create something else. And then beyond creation, the idea of tenderness and love, what it says there with 239 of that motherhood, because our Lord knows within the darkest parts or the most injured parts of our heart that we need some healing, some peace, some love. And we do not open that to everybody, because that is our protection. If we're afraid that if we open our heart to somebody, that they will shatter it even more, and then we lose all sense of hope. And I think that is where our Lord, we can find him in the most darkest times of our life. And if you think about it, that is an intense love, but it's a love that is very relevant to our Lord, because he is the sound source for healing in those moments where he is beyond our pain and he can offer that healing. And it's like, okay, you hear stories of redemption, of healing. Can the evil villain turn into a hero? Can the hero fall? And yes, I think we can turn both yes and no, because we have lost sight in the direction of who was our father, right? Our parents originally. And that is where with Adam and Eve, where we had lost that distinct connection with the Father, and that we started to walk blind in this world around us. And so kind of sharing with everyone in these videos or through your priests, your religious leaders in your community across the world, wherever you watch this video from, right? We all have pieces of the puzzle trying to be good parents for what we were taught as kids. But to really be pushed to learn something a little more about parenthood, right? Think about it. God is the original father, parent. And so beyond your parents, you can be a parent, right? You can teach your parents how to be a parent, right? So think about that. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, at heaven, we're all equal in that we will come back to heaven at the same point of being of existence, our prime, right? We will be in our prime in heaven. So think about that. Age is just a number, and beyond that, we will be in our prime in heaven. So think about that. You can be a young teacher that can help people who are older, right? And the thing is, you have to let go of your pride and listen to the younger audience when there's someone's trying to teach you something. And that is something that God is always so powerful with, and that He can help the youth be the teacher for the aged, and the aged being the teacher for the youth. And so we must be willing to listen to the teacher in the right moment. And is our Lord visible not just in people but in circumstances? I think so. And so when we're open to those lessons in life and reality, listening to our Lord in those moments and the experiences that we face, we can learn from every experience, good and bad, and turn that into something for us to become a lesson that we can put in our heart and move forward to help another person. And so don't forget, you and I could be parents for other people in our lives, the person that they always wanted to be. But then to think about, okay, we cannot control a person, we must let them be and grow as they must, because they want to do things in life that are true to their character, and they have a mission and goal to accomplish. And so we must be good parents and allow our children to grow and become the best version of themselves also. We can guide and nourish, but we cannot control. We must allow everyone to live according to the will of God, because He is the original Father. Don't forget that. Alright everyone, hope this video finds you well today. Don't give up on yourself. Be true and courageous. Find lessons within life and then share them with other people, but allow people to become the hero of their own story as well. Alright everyone, hope this video finds you well. Take care. Have a good one.